You've been in this situation yourself, lost in the ocean, waiting to be rescued. What's it like?
It's very unpleasant. I mean, getting into one of those rubber life rafts in the Atlantic, it's cold. You become sick very quickly, but it's obviously better than the alternative. And I was lucky enough to have Mrs. Thatcher, who managed to get a Nimrod out and get the QE2 diverted and a banana boat diverted, and so we had the world's attention onto us, and we got rescued. And I think that's exactly what the family are trying to do, is to get the same kind of world attention onto their families. And I think they have managed that very well.
With that in mind, Richard, though, I mean, you are very well known. You're a multi-billionaire. These are normal family men. Do you think the Coast Guard would have forgotten about them so quickly if they were like you?
Who's to know? I mean, they didn't. They did search for 48 hours. They did know that the hull was upside down, and it didn't look like there was any air in it. So, they had to make a tough decision. I think where they perhaps are mistaken is that it is extremely difficult, even with a helicopter, to see to see a life raft in the sea, and they could easily have missed it. So I think if they managed to get into a life raft, I think the chances are that they could still very well be alive. And I think the one thing the Coast Guard need to do is to get to the hull of the boat, open it up, see whether there is a life raft inside, and if there isn't a life raft inside, everybody should there's still hope, and people should still be looking. If there is a life raft still inside, and there was only one life raft on, then obviously there's little hope of, I think, them ever being found.
This kind of search, though, just to finish off, is an expensive business, and if it is a matter of cost, would you perhaps foot the bill to keep the search going?
Well, I mean, when we were rescued in the past, we could afford to thank the various governments in different parts of the world when our balloons went into the sea or when our boats sank, by financial compensation or funding lifeboats. We built a new lifeboat as a thank you. When we were rescued by a helicopter once in the Arctic, we funded the London ambulance helicopter for many years as a thank you. So I think if you can afford to do so, I think that a gesture like that is a nice thing to do. But if you can't afford to do so, I think that it's one of those things that a government is there to deal with, and I think it's right that government should deal with it.